first, I would like to talk when you go to workflow page, there were some small changes regarding naming convention. Because now when we click create, we have 3 different type of jobs. So we have regular jobs, but also from create, we can create ETL pipeline, which is new version of DLT pipeline, because this year it will be huge progress with DLT and this concept. And there is also ingestion pipeline. So ingestion pipeline is also something really amazing. And everyone can now see Salesforce connector, but there are a few more in preview and few more not available through UI. There is also Workday, ServiceNow, and SQL Server. And what's amazing with these connectors is that they are built based on change data feed and slowly changing dimension. So they are update the tables in destination incrementally out of the box. Yes. So I think it is the first best practice that if something is available in Databricks, like Databricks connector, use it. And then if you cannot use it because of course there are hundreds of data sources, then go to another solution like Azure Data Factory or Fivetran. But this is the first place to look for connector, yes, because it will be not only easiest to implement, but also cheapest and the most effective architecture because you consume change data feed.
Yeah, and you can also have later the lineage, which means you know that your ingestion data from Salesforce is pushing it through some specific tables, and then you take those tables to transform them and then using dashboards, so you can have this lineage end to end from the source till the let's say the destination, which can be a dashboard, maybe AI BI dashboards.
Yeah, in fact, yes, I haven't thought about it, but yes, it's really great because then the table which is in Salesforce will be included in lineage in Databricks, yes, automatically. Okay, so let's click create job, and probably everyone knows that page regarding, for example, best practices. I would like to point and new features to few places. First is compute, as now we can run job on serverless, and I did some experimentation, and in fact, in DPU, cost of serverless was usually the same as cost of non-serverless, but there is no additional costs, yes? So when you run serverless, you don't pay for virtual machine, etc. So it's really nice to run a job on serverless and then compare in system tables how your bill is changing. So it's really nice. And also cost optimized option is coming. So it will be even cheaper to run on serverless. So it's really amazing. Of course, for SQL job, you can run SQL warehouse. So it's even more better and better optimized and cheaper. But this is like the first part, always to think about compute, which can be cheaper and better and faster. And another place which is really important is to configure timeout. What I found that often people forget about timeout. It is so easy to set something, so you will not finish with a zombie job like the Python script, which is running forever from some library. And recently also some super option for streaming timeouts were added here, and it's really useful because for example, when there is no new records on stream, you can timeout it automatically, for example, after 20 minutes. So it's really good to handle it, or even to restart the stream job based on this timeout because maybe something went wrong. So I found it's really useful. And another thing is triggers, which we mentioned, that you have file arrival trigger. It's something which I'm using really a lot of, and table trigger is coming. Maybe Youssef, you can tell again a bit more about table trigger. Do you think that it will be like new best practice to use table triggers?
Yeah, so basically for table triggers, let's suppose you have a workflow that relies on 4 or 5 tables. So basically in the past, you had to specify, for example, that this workflow should start at maybe 10 a.m. But what if the data doesn't arrive at this specific time slot? Which means you're going to just run your workflows without any purpose. So the goal here is to make sure that you can trigger the workflow only when the data is being updated on one or several tables. And then you're going to ask a question like, yeah, but what happens if I keep updating this table? Of course, you can have there is an advanced configuration where you can specify, okay, if I run this workflow, I should wait maybe 1 hour or 2 hours or even more to trigger it again. And that's how you can be sure that if you run your workflow, you're gonna be taking advantage of it and you're bringing the ROI to your company.
Yeah. I'm really excited about table triggers. What's more, it's always good to implement job notification. Yes?
Also, I think the retries can be good for some specific tasks.
Okay, I think I lost you for a few seconds. Yes, so continue.
Retries can be very, very important for some specific task. Maybe the first time it didn't work, so you maybe give it a second shot or maybe third shot before failing maybe the pipeline.
Yeah, of course, yes. So but also sometimes be careful how many retries. So you need to think always about this logic, about timeouts, retries, and this kind of stuff. And what more, it's always good to implement some notifications. I can say that I'm not using email notification because then you can finish with big garbage in your email. I really like PagerDuty, that I encourage everyone to try, and you can install on your mobile and set some schedule with your colleagues who can see the critical workflows failing. Yes, but of course do it only for production. Yes, but it's a really important option, and it's nice that PagerDuty is integrated out of the box. And what is more, the edit as YAML is integrated, so it's the same code as in Databricks Asset Bundles. So it's also a really nice solution. Usually I use it just for copy paste to code of the bundles, yes, but it's really nice that it's both ways are integrated.
And I think also the conditional execution, like maybe in the type of tasks.
Yes, of course. So in type of task, you have all this logic features now, like if else. So for example, I using logic for if else. If for example, I have incremental streaming update of the table, but if it fails, then I trigger full reload of the table, yes, to delete shape point. And of course, it depends how big is the table, yes. But you can implement this kind of logic with if else to catch that something failed and try to repair it. Also, for each is really useful because you can loop the array, yes, and execute, for example, object. I use it, for example, to loop the list of restaurants and then import data from every restaurant of some client. Yes, so it's proven in production that it's working. And of course, we have these things like you can run a clean room notebook, this new addition. So also clean rooms are I think Databricks clean rooms are like the perfect clean rooms, yes, to collaborate with someone, yes, but it's just small part of workflow. I think what is important for everyone is just these basic things like if else and this trigger. So I think maybe if you want to collaborate more on some additional features about which I forgot.
I think my favorite one is for each, because in the past you had to do like some tricky things. Now you can pass parameters of like a list, and then those parameters will be captured by the task, and then trigger the task for each parameter, and they are done at the same time, which is super cool. Which means, for example, if you have a pipeline that's capturing, returning a list of countries, and then this list of countries will be a parameter for each for each task, for example, to calculate the metrics for France, for Argentina, for Italy, Spain, sales for each maybe country. And of course, we have the parameters that you have mentioned. You can also pass parameters between different tasks. I think those are very, very cool features that are coming. And if I'm not wrong, I think used to pass parameters only when it was like Python or Scala. Now you will have the possibility to pass parameters to SQL tasks as well. This is something I think coming very soon.
Yeah, because there is this markers, yes, for parameters, so it's even nicer than in Python, yes. So, but what I think is really important now I remember is that I found really often that people in a notebook put reference to some like undocumented features, like there is this entry point to get, for example, workspace ID or notebook ID or run ID, but the best practice, which is really important, is that when you click here, insert dynamic value, you can take here the dynamic value for example, these things like notebook path, run ID, etc. And then you can consume in your script. So, and it's the same for serverless, for every runtime. So you don't create messy code and pass this way. So if you need to know the path, if you need to know run ID, what I see is really popular that people use some script, Databricks SDK inside or entry point to get run ID, and they log in run ID in some log table, but you can pass it from here, yes. And it's working really nice. So I really recommend all this metadata to pass here from the workflow. Yeah, all this stuff.
Yeah, and I think also one of the things that were added recently is you can track the different runs with sequential, like with the new UI to track the execution of the different tasks, and of course the existing one, which is repair, reruns, and stuff which can be very, very interesting, I think.
Yes. And the same with the LT pipeline that you can now, for example, refresh a single fail task. Yes, so it was improved a bit. So that's nice. And I think the third pipeline, which we can talk about, is ETL pipeline. It's like new name for the LT pipeline. And I think I will not show so much here because I don't have read the DLT pipeline, but what I found really amazing recently that materialized views are getting better and better because it's really simple to create materialized view and you can run it using ETL pipeline or SQL warehouse. And now more and more this materialized view are updated through pipeline incrementally. I think now it's around more than 60%, and it was like 30%. So it's really nice to combine materialized view with your pipeline. And if it's simple SQL, then it will be also updated incrementally. So I think we can say that there are workflows and there are all these things which are like dependent workflows, yes. So different objects. So the workflow is like the heart to orchestrate like everything. So it's nice that there are improvements on both sides. Yes.
Yeah, indeed. And there, I think there is also something coming soon. And this is something also I think one of the best practices. Make sure that you tag your pipelines and your job. Mm. This is very, very important in order to make sure that you can track the cost. And with serverless, you're going to have something called budget policies. As, for example, if Hubert is part of the group data engineers, then once Hubert creates this workflow, it will automatically be tagged like business unit data engineering. And then at the end, for example, of the day, of the month, you can go to system tables with the dashboards you can have built on the top of it. You can track the cost of this specific job, which can be a very good way to see what are the most expensive jobs. Maybe it is worth having a look at them, optimize them, or maybe doing some, I don't know. I think it's still going to be very interesting to use compared to clusters where each time you need to tailor them to your specific needs. And sometimes you're going to have maybe 1 terabyte to ingest. The day after, maybe you're going to have just 20 gigabytes of data. In the past, you have to use this like number of workers, put maybe, for example, between 1 to 100, choose whether it's memory optimized, build optimized. A lot of a lot of things to do. Now with serverless, there is no knob. Just click on serverless and Databricks will choose what is the perfect compute resource that needs to run your workflow. And with what Hubert mentioned, the cost optimized, you're going to have this possibility to run it at a lower cost. But of course, you won't be having the SLA that you have in the as fast as possible, or let's say the mode where it executes when you hit like execute, then the compute is assigned to you. With cost optimized, you can have some let's say some time before having this resource allocated to you, but of course it will be cheaper than the
that can be delayed like up to 1 hour because it's cost optimized. But for example, when you run your workflows at the night, it's perfect, yes, because it's
90 batches can be a very good option.
And then for sure it will be like the best score. But also regarding that tags, it's important to remember that, for example, to train machine learning models or some different use cases, people still use standard compute, classic compute, not serverless. So then the benefit of the tags is that they are propagated down. So if you have your data from Azure, even some networking data, storage data, these tags will be included in operations there in detailed billing. Yes, so you can get information from there as well. Because even on serverless, you need to remember that you still will have some not VM costs or drive costs, but you will still have some network cost. You will still have, of course, normal storage cost. So that's why it's also important, because then you can use the stack on both ends, yes, because they are propagated down.
Yeah, that's exact. And I think if you go to maybe have you run any workflows over here? Because just want to show them maybe the runs.
There was one, but it was run quite long ago.
Yeah, that's
February,
still good. Yeah. For example, you can see here the different tags. You can see the parameters, the logs. You can, of course, if you click on the arrow, you can maybe in case of a failure, you can find you can repair this task and restart from the where. Yeah, you can see on the top, edit, repair, rerun. And what's good with it is that in case, for example, you're running a workflow for that runs, I don't know, for 3 hours, in case the last task failed, you don't need, when you repair this task, don't need to rerun everything from scratch, but you will just run from the task failed one, and then you will be saving also some compute time, which is very, very important, of course.
And actually, that job here, which has only one task, is quite interesting, because I developed a small Databricks app for business user, where business user go not to Databricks, just see that Databricks apps and select this three parameters in a nice form. So this param 1, 2, 3 in nice form, and then that Databricks apps is triggering that job. And it's really amazing, because you don't even have to pass ID to Databricks apps of your job. You can just pass the name and use system variables there for your jobs. All this integration in Databricks, which is really a lot of them, are amazing, yes, because you can, for example, Databricks apps for business user, and they just will have play button to run a pipeline, and then you can trigger a browser notification to notify user that your data were reloaded and it's ready. Yes, so this is I really like in Databricks that it's complete data platform. Yes.
Yeah, indeed, and it's making life very easy for developers.
Yes. So.
Do you have any?
Yes.
Do you have anything else to add on the workflow part?
I don't think so for now, yes. So, or maybe I forgot about something. This is but really for most data engineers is their home of their daily job with Databricks. So I think what is important in Databricks, that when we have feedback that something is not working well or should be improved, that feedback is really working. Yes, that then people in Databricks, developers, are improving based on people feedback. So it's really nice. What I like in Databricks, that things like workflows are built based on you. And if you have any suggestion what could be improved, just write on community or write on LinkedIn, and we are reading it, and then we are proposing to product team to improve that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what you mentioned before. Like Databricks is built by the customer for the customer.
Yeah. Okay. I think I will stop sharing because this is the end of my small demo. Yeah.
But that was good, and I think we have a lot of upcoming improvement that we cannot talk about right now, but maybe we should wait for the right moment.
Yeah, we can talk for now is this ingestion pipeline, that probably soon that page with ingestion will be busy with logos, yes? So there'll be more and more, and it was public, of course, which are coming first, yes? So it's really amazing, and the same regarding ingestion in your pipeline, the announcement about SAP Databricks is amazing, that you can Delta share data from SAP to Databricks and then process it further with pipelines. And I think, for example, with materialized views, it's really awesome to process SAP data. So I think really amazing. I think it was news of the year that there is SAP Databricks. Maybe it's not in the topic of workflow, but it's really big game changer. And I think what is in Databricks the most important, that there is really vision how it should work and how the complete data platform will look.
Yeah, indeed. And as you mentioned, we're gonna have more and more logos there in the Lakeflow part. They started with the SQL Server, but they're gonna have more databases and also more SaaS. I think now, Workday, we have Workday, Salesforce, ServiceNow maybe.
Yes,
and I think they're
exactly.
gonna have more and more services coming to Lakeflow, which will simplify the ingestion, and then just go start running your transformation, orchestrate everything with workflows or orchestrate Lakeflow orchestration.
Yeah, I also like this approach that Databricks started with, that systems used by big enterprises like Salesforce and Workday. Probably many people from some companies even don't know what is Workday, but a lot of big companies really use it. The same with ServiceNow. So it's really nice to integrate that. For example, for ServiceNow, I see a lot of use cases that you can manage with ServiceNow really nice. For example, group, Active Directory groups, Entra ID. You can then, for example, using that connector, you can import that information. And you can, for example, then validate in workflow is the security things, because companies use ServiceNow to request access to resources. But I think it's discussion for different our meeting.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Hubert, and see you in the next episode.
Yeah. I think we will talk soon again.
Yeah.
Thank you. Bye, Youssef.